What is the single worst day of your entire life? For me, it was the day I finally decided to fix things with my dad. I was 41. We hadn't talked in 12 years. Not a single word. No birthday calls, no holidays, nothing. It all started the day I married Nora. Dad called her a mistake right to my face, said I was throwing my life away, and walked out of the church before the ceremony even started. I tried calling him for months after that, but he never picked up. Eventually, I stopped trying. 12 years of silence. 12 years of pretending I didn't care. But then Nora got pregnant, and everything changed. I kept thinking about this kid growing up without knowing their grandpa. I grew up with mine, and those were some of my best memories. Fixing carburetors in his garage, learning to fish at the lake, eating his terrible burnt pancakes every Sunday morning. I wanted that for my kid, even if Dad and I had our problems. So I wrote him a letter. Took me 3 days to get it right. I must have started over 20 times. I told him about the baby, about how Nora and I were doing good, about how I missed him. The last line was, "I forgive you, and I hope you can forgive me too." I mailed it to his last address, the same house I grew up in. Didn't even know if he still lived there. A week later, I got a reply. Just a short note on the back of a gas station receipt. His handwriting was shaky, worse than I remembered. It said, "Come by Sunday. Let's talk." That was it. But it was enough. I was so nervous I barely slept that Saturday night. I kept rehearsing what I'd say, how I'd hug him, whether I should bring Nora or go alone. I decided to go alone first, break the ice, then bring her next time. Sunday morning, I drove the 2 hours to his place. The whole way there, my hands were sweating on the steering wheel. I pulled up to the house around 11 a.m. His truck was in the driveway. The grass needed cutting. The mailbox was crooked, same as always. Everything looked exactly like I remembered, just older. I walked up to the front door and knocked. No answer. I knocked again, louder this time. Still nothing. Then I tried the doorknob and it was unlocked. That wasn't like him. Dad always locked his doors, even during the day. I pushed it open and called out, "Dad? It's me, Caleb." Silence. The TV was on in the living room, playing some old western. I could hear it from the entryway. I walked in, and that's when I saw him. He was in his recliner, the same brown one he'd had since I was a kid. His head was tilted back, eyes closed, one arm hanging off the side. There was a coffee mug on the table next to him, still half full. I walked closer and said his name again. He didn't move. I knew before I even touched him. His skin was cold. I called 911, but I already knew it was too late. The paramedics came, then the coroner. Heart attack, they said. Probably happened early that morning, maybe around 6 or 7 a.m. Hours before I got there. Hours before we were supposed to talk. I sat there in that living room while they took him away. I just sat in his recliner, staring at the TV, not really watching it. And then I saw it. On the kitchen counter, next to a stack of unopened mail. My letter. The envelope I'd sent him. It was still sealed. He never opened it. He never read it. He died without knowing I forgave him. I don't know if he was planning to open it before I came over, or if he'd already decided what he wanted to say without reading it. Maybe he didn't need to read it, or maybe he was too scared. I'll never know. The funeral was small. Just me, Nora, and a few of his old co-workers from the plant. No other family. We'd all drifted apart over the years. I stood there at the cemetery, looking at his casket, thinking about every fight we ever had, every stupid argument, every time I could have called and didn't, every time he could have reached out and didn't. All that pride, all that silence, and it led to this. 3 months later, Nora had the baby. A boy. Healthy, loud, perfect. We named him David, after my dad. When I held him for the first time, I made myself a promise. I will never let pride steal time from my family again.